Next, let's look at orientation. Now, orientation, that's really simple. All it does is determine if you want your document printed in portrait or landscape. Okay, so now you're saying what's portrait and what's landscape. Well, portrait is basically like you're looking at the document and holding the piece of paper vertically. So we'll click on orientation over here to set that. It's already on portrait. So we'll go ahead and look at the preview again, and we'll reduce it a little. And now you see our data is printed on pages like they're held up vertically. If I want to change that orientation to be landscape, all that does is print out so that we're looking at the page horizontally. And typically this is good if you have a lot more columns you want to display on one page. So now we can move on to selecting the paper size. And that's easy. You just go to the size command, click the drop down arrow, and you got some of your main choices here. The top two are the most popular. Letter size, that's 8.5 by 11. That's what most people print out on. Then the close second is US Legal. And then you move into some other formats that may not be as common. And here you see how we could feed an envelope into a printer. And if I go down here, go to the page setup, I'll get even more options for the page size. If I go to this page tab on page setup and I click on options, that's where I get a lot more paper size choices. Legal, tabloid, a bunch of others. And then I could manage custom sizes too to put in my own, or maybe get some mailing labels. The next thing we're going to talk about is setup of margins. Now what margins are is whenever you set up all your elements of your Excel sheet, the margins are actually space that Excel will force to be blank around the entire document you're going to print out. Now, sometimes people just like to have, like an inch border around the whole working area, or you might have a company logo letterhead that's at the top that you need a bigger margin at the top so it catches that. That's kind of some of the reasons you might change margins. Most of the time people just leave them at the default value. But we'll go ahead and click this margins command in the page setup tab, and you've got three basic setups: normal, wide, and narrow. Now to see these better, let's look at the page layout view. See, right now we're in the normal view, so that's kind of a standard margin around the edge. And you see that margin, you can still put a header in there and put more information there. The margin is going to be the area at the very top. So I could go wide, and you see how Excel gave me more space around the document. Or if I go narrow, it really shrunk the distance down. So there's not much space at all now for a margin over here. Next, let's talk about setting page breaks. And we can go ahead and do this in the page layout. It might be kind of interesting to see it here. Now, if you don't set page breaks, Excel will just start a new page when it gets to the end of the data, and it'll print as much as it can on each sheet. But there are times when logically you might want all the records to be together on one page, so you might want to set artificial page breaks in your worksheet. So what I'll do here is I'll start off and just set a page break at row 15. So if I click on A16, when I insert my page break, Excel will insert a page break above the cell I'm on and to the left. And since I'm on the edge, it won't do anything there. But I can go ahead and into breaks, insert a page break. And now, you see now I have a page break here that forces Excel to make a new page right here. Now another thing I said you could do is that Excel will make a page break to the left and above where your cursor is. So let's try another one. Let's go down here and set a page break right there. Well, now what you did, since you set a page break on the columns, is you forced it to only print out the 3 columns to the left of where you set page break. And now you scroll down and the entire worksheet just has the first 3 columns in the first series of pages, and then it has the rest on subsequent pages. And if I want to get rid of the breaks, I can just go here and reset all page breaks and go back to nothing. If I go to the normal view, I can still see page breaks there too. It just won't show it how it's going to look on the printout exactly. So for example, I could put a page break on row 37. Excel shows it as a very soft lit blue line. Now if I want to move that page break, it's really easy. From the normal view, I can just click and drag when I get the icon to look like this, and I can move the page break up a few if I want.